I just want you to say that let these guys speak to begin with, and then we can take some questions if you have any, and then we go for a tour. And after that, we can take individual interviews if that's requested. So, Justin, take it away.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for having us. For those who don't know what DreamHack is beyond the video, around about 25 years now. We celebrate our 25th birthday in December. And what we've been doing lately is we've been kind of, any business needs to innovate, bring to the next level, change, adapt with times. And what we've been doing is how can we make gaming have the reach that you see nowadays across esports, across PC, all those things. How can we make this really big festival? So what we've been doing lately in the past 2 years is adding content for gamers to kind of give them the idea to be able to explore these areas of gaming and have a gaming hobby event. So you have esports, you have PC, you have all these cultures and all these communities. And what we've been doing is developing on top of that in terms of indie games, showing off the art, showing off pitch competitions on how to get a game and developed. Right this weekend we're debuting our funny comedy awards in terms of the Dreamies. You know, it's our MTV take on games and kind of having a little fun splash of it. So the idea is to have this kind of exploratory attitude for this esports kind of contestant or anyone that might be playing or watching. They get up and they kind of explore these assets of the festival and see what gaming is made up of in terms of even their hobbies outside it. So as we explore new things like music and film, how do we make sure that the music and film we work with are things that gamers like? Because we are first and foremost a gaming festival. So we've not only announced the DreamHack awards called the Dreamies, but we've also announced our relationship with Shudder, which is a horror streaming platform. We're doing some stuff with them this weekend. That's after we've announced already stuff with Lionsgate in the past and Orion Pictures in the past. We have music from Missio, The Score, big alternative rock night. Then we have an EDM night with Yoro. We're just building that even more so. So all these kind of things, we're blending that kind of approach. And then we've also even added Game House's game brand, Game House. They debuted this weekend. That's actually pretty big. So enjoy the show, and thanks for having us. And I hope you see what everything is going on and fire away with any questions as you see us walking through the event. And with that, I will introduce you to our CEO, Mike.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Mike. So I'm the.
Can you speak up? Can you speak up? Because you're competing with those. Can you speak up?
Yeah, sir. Is this volume okay?
Yeah.
Great. So my name's Mike. I'm the Chief Product Officer. I'm working a lot with our business development, especially esport initiatives. So we're going to have, depending how you qualify, we do everything from the most simple BYOC community tournaments to the very professional, very exclusive top-tier esport tournaments. So I think we're giving away, over $500,000 this weekend, is it? It always varies. We're very unique in that we're game agnostic, right? So when you go and see the floor up there, you'll see Halo, you'll see Warcraft 3, you'll see CSGO, you'll see Madden, you'll see Fortnite, so you'll see MTG Arena, and the list kind of just goes on, right? So this weekend will also be an opportunity for, I want to say, between 2,000 and 2,500 unique competitors to all come here and show that they are the best at the game they're playing. It's going to be a super important event for all of them. It's a really exciting weekend for us. This is the first time we've done such a large-scale Fortnite competition. So in this bring your own computer area you see behind you, it's going to be well over 1,000 people all playing there tomorrow. So it's going to look totally different, and they'll all be competing for $250,000. So that one is super exciting, as well as up on the show floor, all the other different titles. So definitely a very big weekend. I don't think we've ever worked with as many game publishers as we have on the esports tournaments we're hosting. So collegiate esports, we're working with CSL here. So it's definitely a little bit of everything. Each tournament really has its unique story around all these different competitors. So definitely a very, very exciting weekend for us. I'd be happy to later on answer any questions, talk through anything of what you guys are all curious about in terms of these different competitions, how they all fit in, how DreamHack fits in, and what the future is going to be, since all of this stuff just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah.
And I'm Jay Burress. I'll take that. My name's Jay Burress. I'm the president and CEO of Visit Anaheim. The representative through the city to book this building and to bring visitors into our destination. You know, we're the perfect destination for an event like this. We're a city that's built on imagination with Walt Disney coming here over 60 years ago. In fact, our vision is to inspire and delight the imagination of every visitor. I know there'll be a lot of imagination going on in this room and above. We do very well with events like this because of the creativity. We've had a great relationship with Blizzard Entertainment, and BlizzCon has been here for 14 straight years. We've grown that from 8,000 in attendance to over 40,000 in attendance. And we hope to have a similar relationship with you guys and grow this event. I would love to say that we were ahead of the curve and predicted this phenomena going on in Orange County. It snuck up on us, but it truly has become a hotbed for this type of programming, entertainment, gaming, esports, all right here in Orange County. So much so that, first with Driel, we're your first West Coast destination, but even UC Irvine, part of the UC system, has a program now. We're the first university to offer scholarships and programs in this area. You know, the Esports Arena in Santa Ana has become very popular, but we're also surrounded by corporations who support this industry, from Blizzard Entertainment to HyperX Gaming. We really wanted to be a leader in this industry. We're so thrilled that you were here to have your first ever West Coast event here, and we want to do everything we can to make it a success. And anything we can do from the Visit Anaheim or the City of Anaheim, thank you for choosing me.
Yeah, thank you. Great, so do we have any questions right now?
A quick one.
Yeah.
For you, sir. Is there any available information in terms of the economic impact that the esports functions have had for the city of Anaheim? Is there anywhere that those numbers are accessible?
I do not know the answer to that, but I can look into it.
I appreciate it.
Because they may have it for Orange County just because the impact is so strong here, but I will look into that.
Thank you very much.
If we can get a card or something, I'll get that back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, to you again. First you. So we had NAMM last month, huge, the biggest music conference in the United States. We just had robotics. We had a robotics conference here. Now we're having DreamHack here. So what is next? What's the magic that's going to be here next? What's the next big conferences that's expire? If we have robotics and we have music and now we have gaming, what's coming up next?
It all is, and it's not all technology. We have natural products coming up. There'll be over 85,000 people attending, and that's all natural products, from food to clothing to everything you can imagine. All very forward-thinking, and so that'll be a big show coming up that comes here annually. But talk about all those. VidCon is another one that's been a great hit here and continues to grow. Started here and continues to grow, and that's all the YouTube users of the world. Great attendance that grows. So we're seeing those more and more. Disney has different events here. So the technology groups are starting to discover Anaheim as this great place for their meetings and events because of our campus, because of our facility, and because we have access to, within a 90-minute drive, we have access to 20 million people in this area. So it's great to build your attendance and drive traffic into your event and your show.
And for you guys, I thank you so much for that. And we're coming to VidCon, so we'll just see you there. But so for you guys, give us some stories, maybe of some of your. You have 25 years, amazing performance. You do conference, you do DreamHack all over. You do 13 DreamHacks all over the world. What is some of your? Give me a story of your best and maybe your most disaster story and your best story.
Disaster story. I mean, events are special. There's always unforeseen challenges. I think one of the this is maybe related with how different things used to be in terms of these type of events. We used to show up to a venue and then they would say, you're doing what? Like, you want to, how much computers, how much this, how much internet? We did an event once, I won't say which event, but we showed up and then they were like, yeah, our CEO wants to talk to your CEO. And that's not a very good sign, of course. And then the CEOs get on the line and they're like, So that new internet line we promised to install, that didn't happen. And the event is in 2 days. So that was a painful moment, but our team is very special, and so we actually managed to throttle different lines and do the event with the availability of internet we had. It was interesting. I think the press were sitting in the press room like, I can send emails, but I can't upload photos. It's very, very slow. So that was an interesting one, and it actually just goes to show now when we have a much easier conversation and different, both cities and venues are like, oh, we need to get this type of event. This is the next kind of thing. Whereas, when we first looked at going to Austin in 2015, just people super confused about what this whole thing is going to be. You show them a video and they're just like, okay, I don't know if we can do that, guys. But now everybody is on a very different wavelength. So that's been a fun journey, and definitely one of the highlights about being part of this growing industry and really helping, I think, to pioneer it and bring people together.
Thank you.
Good.
Can I add a comment to your question? Last year, I don't know if anybody knows this, but DreamHack was featured in 2 different specials. One was a World According to Jeff Goldblum, which is on National Geographic and the Disney Channel, and he did a whole thing about esports tournament, esports team that did DreamHack in Dallas, and then ESPN did a thing about a fighting game competitor named Broly Legs, who's disabled, and he's one of the best Street Fighter fighting game tournament players in the league. My question is, how has those 2 exposures for DreamHack helped the vision of DreamHack make happen for different places? Like, this is the first Anaheim event, so was it easier for you guys to show, you guys look at, people are coming out to our events, and doing specials like Jeff Goldblum and ESPN. Is it easier now to have those kind of things in your resume, I guess?
Yeah, I think totally. I mean, I think especially just to comment on the Burley Leg story, it's so awesome to see that kind of story and forget the positive, business impacts it has. It's just an awesome story, and I think when we think about DreamHack, quite often we're coming from a history of, parents not supporting kids playing video games or gaming not being cool in school, and actually now it's become more of a celebration as opposed to in the past it was kind of people would come to this event and be like, finally I'm meeting more like-minded people and this is great. And now the event, because it's kind of gaming is not it doesn't have this negative perception I think it used to. Now it's much more of a celebration and positive thing, and so I think what's awesome is those kinds of stories that can share this to a wider group and so on. I think the amount of different kids that can come to these events and actually show their parents what's going on, and so many parents that can get excited about it. And I mean, in general, families are actually one of our biggest demographics that is growing super rapidly. So I think, in general, all this stuff both helps us so much. And just in general, being able to link to big mainstream press, that's all of a sudden then different big stakeholders on an event that can have this impact. It's a lot easier than linking to endemic esports press that no one's heard of, even though I think those outlets are great. But when it's on ESPN or check out this episode on Disney Plus, okay, everyone knows about that kind of stuff. So all of this is just really helping the forward momentum of everything we're doing.
I mean, just with the whole festival vibe, messages like that, when I see stuff like that, I celebrate at home, you know what I mean? Because it just kind of helps our message in terms of, here we have esports, and here we have gaming, here we have all these worlds that a lot of people didn't understand for so long, and now people want to be part of our world. Jeff Goldblum's coming to our event. Some people that, there might be some surprises this weekend that you'll see walking through our floor, they're coming to our event. It's no more does gaming have to come to Sundance, no more does gaming have to come here or there. People are coming to be integrated with us, and you see that more and more with stories like that, with people buying an esports tournament, with investments in, you'd be surprised how many people actually invest in just video games alone.
Oh, yeah.
Behind the scenes as quiet stakeholders, you know what I mean? So those messages I love. I mean, I had the pleasure of working with Jeff Goldblum on that thing, and you kidding me? I brought him wherever I could to have as much footage as I could, because that is important for our message when we're doing music, when we're doing the film elements, when we're educating all these people outside the scope of what gaming is. Because for me, there's still some old-fashioned thoughts in the entertainment medium today outside of gaming. Like, I mean, you still see scripts being written that you're this 30-something-year-old unemployed in the basement of your parents' house still, and and that's usually coming from possibly Hollywood and stuff like that. And then anytime we can educate that's not the case anymore, and that hasn't been the case for some time, is a win in my book. So
Yeah.
Just lastly from me, you talked about demographics. Orange County is one of the hotbeds of high school esports now. If you look at, I mean, the leagues are being created. You look at Newport Harbor, Villa Park, the schools in Irvine. League of Legends and all those games are really, really popping up. How important is it to DreamHack to activate those audiences and those kids and bring them in here and show them, like you said, the parents that, you know what, this is okay, and this is something that can actually get you paid in college.
super important. I mean, you're talking, I'm a little biased, I'm a father, so I mean, my kids kind of grew up with a controller in their hands since they were 3. You know what I mean? So, but regardless of that, I mean, super important because we building. I mean, going on that festival approach, we want a student area, so to speak, right? So we have collegiate with CSL. We have we're working with NASEF for high school, and we even dive into the world of student game design because anyone that goes to USC, anyone that goes to, of course, game design degree, one of the things they have to do is team up with 4 to 6 of their students and peers and make a game to graduate. And a lot of people don't know that that game sometimes is a spiritual successor to a game that is released 5 years later. So we're building that kind of student thing. We want to do a student recruitment area, you know, all these other things. So we're big on the student aspect. We have some plans down the road too.
Thank you.
There's a new game engine that has been very popular right now called Dreams. And I'm curious to know how DreamHack, is there any plans or anything in the future to work with Dreams to help those students build, like do a game jam with the Dream Engine? And because I know like South by Southwest, they did a game jam with Unity, and they had teams, you know, get a basic thing of Unity and build a 48-hour game jam. Is there any things, because DreamHack and Dreams, like that's just, you know, something that seems kind of like, you know, a no-brainer.
100%. So there's a free play console area. We'll have 20, some amount of stations dedicated to Dreams. I know the Media Molecule people, and I would love to talk to them about future things, but we're testing it and see how it goes. We have our own game jam that we do with Game Jolt. So we're very much in tune with that world. We're going to talk to Game Maker and Unity and all these other things. So 100%. Yeah, I mean, Dreams just came out 2 weeks ago, so it's just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, there's people already doing amazing things with it.
Yeah, phenomenal thing, yeah.
Okay, last question.
So upstairs you have the Indie Garden. You talked about Indie, what you're doing for Indie. Talk about the Indie Garden and what you're doing with that, what that's all about. How many developers you have, and what you're doing for the developers.
So similar to a student area in the festival approach, it's kind of like, you know, ironically, take Disney World's map. You've seen Disney World's map. Tomorrowland, Frontier, you know, all these lands and how it's kind of segued out in that way. We are trying to do that with, okay, here's all our esports, here's our indie games, here's our tabletop. It's basically, we would love to get to the point where we have that kind of map. And in that map is our indie land, right? So one of those sections is an indie garden. And it's actually been known in the market today that indie garden kind of art house narrative games, they have trouble in the sales department in most cases. These games, probably 1 out of every 10 is a success in terms of sales. So what we're doing with the Indie Garden is we're picking a publisher to feature and kind of saying, here's the 5, 7, 8 games that we might pick with that publisher that shows the art house narrative of the power of a game. So think of it as no different than indie films. There's a message to these type of games.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all. So those of you interested in sticking around for a brief tour of the venue, just get up here and we'll split you up into 2 groups, I think. Be enough.